Welcome! In this video, we'll look at how to calculate student workload and why it's an important part of effective course design. Time on task refers to the estimated time students spend working through course materials. These calculations help align coursework with credit hour expectations while creating a well-paced and thoughtfully structured experience. Time on task estimates help instructors meet both federal and institutional guidelines. These include U.S. Department of Education recommendations and the Carnegie Rule, which suggests that about 2 hours of student work for every hour of instruction. Beyond compliance, transparent time expectations also support student engagement while setting clear expectations about the workload required to complete the course. Now let's take a closer look at what time on task means and why it matters in instructional planning. Time on task is the estimated time students spend actively engaging with instructional content and learning activities. Estimating time on task ensures that the work students complete in any course is aligned with credit hour expectations. This calculated workload estimate applies across all learning modalities, whether in-person, online, or hybrid. In a traditional 15-week, 3-credit in-person course, students typically attend class for about 3 hours each week, adding up to about 45 hours of direct instruction. This includes activities like lectures, in-class discussions, and group work. Outside of class, students are expected to complete additional class work, such as readings, completing assignments, and studying. The general guideline is 2 hours of independent work for every hour in class, totaling 135 hours over the semester. Online courses follow the same credit hour expectations as in-person courses, but they may be structured differently. Because students are not meeting for a set class time each week, estimating time on task helps ensure the workload is consistent in rigor and aligned with credit hour requirements, regardless of how or where the course is delivered. So how do we make sure online courses meet those expectations? Let's explore with an example 3-credit hour course. For an 8-week, 3-credit course, students should spend approximately 135 total hours on coursework. To keep the workload balanced, divide 135 hours by the number of modules, typically 7 or 8. This means each module should aim for no more than 16 to 20 hours of total time on task. Keep in mind that the 135 hours includes all learning time, not just graded activities. This includes time students spend studying, reviewing materials, and preparing for assignments and assessments. If the estimated time for a module exceeds that amount, consider redistributing content or revising activities and assessments to better balance the workload across the course. This kind of planning is especially important for accelerated terms, where the total workload stays the same but is condensed into a shorter time frame. Once you've identified the activities for each module, the next step is to estimate how much time on average students might need to complete each one. This includes readings, submitted assignments, discussion forums, study time, and assessments. Keep in mind, these activities should be selected based on your course outcomes or learning goals. Estimating time on task helps ensure that each activity supports these goals while keeping the workload manageable. As you begin estimating time on task, it's helpful to document your calculations in a format like an alignment map. The alignment map is like a blueprint that shows how every resource and activity supports the learning goals of the course. Tracking time for each activity can help you identify whether certain modules are too heavy or too light so you can adjust accordingly. A course workload estimator is a useful research-based tool that provides time estimates for common academic tasks. These estimates offer a useful starting point, but instructors should also consider the complexity of the assignment and the experience level of their learners when determining overall time demands. For example, reading time can vary based on length, word density, and difficulty. Writing time will depend on word count, assignment type, and whether students are expected to draft and revise. Every student is different. Factors like prior knowledge, learning speed, and engagement can all affect how much time a student needs to complete a module. That's why it's important to use standard guidelines as a starting point while still allowing flexibility. If you'd like more detailed time estimates, check out the linked resource in the video description, which breaks down typical time ranges for various tasks. To recap what we have learned, time on task estimates help align coursework with credit hour expectations and support student success. Using this structured approach helps instructors create an appropriately paced learning experience with clear time expectations. Now it's time to put these strategies into practice. Review your content and check if the time on task estimates match credit hour expectations and provide a manageable workload for your students. This concludes our Calculating Time on Task video. If you have any Moodle or technology-related questions or need assistance, contact the Faculty Technology Center at 225-578-3375, option 2, or ftc@lsu.edu. Thank you for watching.